Now let's wait till 5:30.
That's the last thing I'm gonna remember, Danny.
All right, welcome everybody. We are going to have actually 3 separate meetings tonight, so we will gavel those all in and have roll call for each of those. The first one's going to be a sine die to recognize the outgoing council members. So we will call to order the city council meeting for Monday, July 1st, 2024 at 5:30. Roll call, please, Maureen.
Weigel.
Here.
Selsky. Here. Weber.
Here.
Lunsky. Here. Kavami.
Here.
Sandy.
Here.
And Veen.
Here.
Everyone's present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 2 is our action items, and that's 2.1 is recognition of council members. So I'm going to start with Mr. Kavami. We've got a plaque for you, so I'm going to present that. And then if you've got any statements you want to make, and then any other council members that want to certainly have a moment as well. So start with Mr. Kavami.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, normally I don't speak very much during council, so I actually thought I might share some words and maybe some words of wisdom for the oncoming council members, and maybe a little peek behind the curtain for some folks. You know, for me, it was really interesting to come in during, pandemic and all these things and trying to learn and figure that all out. But the biggest thing for me was just how much power we have. Just experiencing the impact that we could make, and I'm being facetious, guys. And what was really funny, or I would say really enjoying, and again, I don't want this to get to the new council members' heads, but I had a couple people reach out to me, maybe in my first couple years, that didn't like the stop sign location and the sight lines behind a hotel, and another person that on Cottonwood they needed some road striping done. And I don't know if it's a credit to engineering department or not, but I think you can tell how much is happening behind the scenes and how much people care. And what's crazy is I got credit for both of those things being done in less than 24 hours. And so if you can just imagine a world where a striped line can get painted in less 24 hours because a concerned citizen raises that, I just want to warn you guys, because these are the things that, the city departments do, and I don't think anyone, gets to recognize them. And so I enjoyed taking credit for that, and I appreciate that. And it was a great 4 years. I'm excited to raise some chickens and to have some questionable investments and do all the things that, I wasn't allowed to do for the last 4 years. So with that, I appreciate, my time with all these council members. I really enjoyed the times when we didn't agree. Especially with Mr. Sandy there. Anytime that you could have this great discourse with folks, it was really enjoyable and pleasurable. And at the end of the day, staff really taught me so many things, and Mr. Sandy, not so much. With that, thank you guys. Appreciate the time and support.
Why don't we, let's give him, we're going to probably give him a 2 rounds. Let's give Mr. Cavambi a round of applause. And then I'll just open up if any other council members want to, give him a friendly ribbing as well on the way out. Now's your chance.
Except for Rebecca.
President Sandy, please.
Mayor, thank you. It's hard to put into words the feelings of having people who mean something leave. It's always bittersweet. The good news is you have lots of good things to look forward to, Kyle, but certainly we're going to miss you. You've always been a true gentleman, and in times in the last 4 years when not everyone was gentlemanly, you always managed to keep your composure and do the right thing, and that is something that's, unlike myself, you managed to keep your composure and do this. Your energy and enthusiasm are infectious. There's obviously a reason why you're very successful in your work, and your sound judgment will be missed around here. Thank you, Kyle, for everything you've done for our city.
I will just say one very quick comment, and we kind of had this conversation a few minutes. I always, when I came to council meeting or committee meeting, my biggest question is, where's Kyle today? You were traveling constantly, it seems like, and you're either on your way to get here or you're leaving immediately after. So I appreciate your dedication. And oftentimes it was on Zoom too, but it seemed like you always figured out a way to get here, and appreciate that.
All right, I
I'll
guess.
just add one more thing, Mayor.
Okay, go ahead.
Kyle, there was times we agreed, disagreed, but I think for me, I enjoyed my time away from council with you, and just learning more about you and your family, and your willingness to want to serve in whatever capacity that is. And so that's something that's difficult to come by, and that's something that I truly appreciate about you. So.
All right, any other council members? Well, I suppose I will wrap it up and just give you a big thank you. I think, Councilmember Veen, I think, put it well. You would probably traveled the most miles of anybody and still try to sign in as often as you could to the meetings. You're a full-time dad, full-time in your occupation. I don't know if there's been an someone working for an architecture firm in business development that's been on the council, at least in the recent history. So that perspective was greatly appreciated, and definitely think of some of the projects that moved forward, some of the projects that didn't move forward. There was no lack of interesting times, we'll put it that way. So just from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the entire city, just thank you for the last 4 years and your dedication and your serving. So one more round of applause for Mr. Cavambi. All right, Mr. Weber's been here a little bit longer, so his ending might be a little bit longer here, but we'll go to Mr. Weber, who ended up as the vice president, served at least the last 2 years as vice president. We've got a plaque for you, 12 years. I don't know if it's a term or a sentence. You'll probably decide later, but Vice President Weber, here you go.
Thank you, Mayor.
So we'll certainly open it up to you. As expected, he has some prepared remarks, so
Kyle said he'd take a moment because he didn't normally say very much during meetings. I guess that means I might take a few moments, so thanks for your patience. First, as an outgoing member of the Grand Forks City Council, it's been an honor to serve the people of Grand Forks for these last 12 years. I often have people ask if I get tired of all the negative comments, but I can honestly say that the statements of appreciation have far outnumbered complaints. That was true during the many months of the Fufeng discussions, and it is because we are blessed with a great city. Compliments and kind regards have been the norm for 12 years, but those did little to prepare me for the many kind statements and all the gracious outreach I've received over the last several weeks. So quickly, let me thank all of those who have said so many generous things. I owe several of you some more text messages, so I'll get back in touch. Personally, I have disappointments regarding things that I wasn't able to accomplish. But regarding the many accomplishments, those were always the result of collaboration and team efforts. And there is nothing I can take credit for on my own. Indeed, Grand Forks should cherish its reputation for being a collaborative community. Dear Council, that must not be squandered. Hi, Peter Johnson. You know all about the Team Grand Forks and our reputation across the state for collaboration. As such, I have a few people that I need to thank. First, I must thank the people of Grand Forks and especially of Ward 3. We have often heard that elected officials must work for the people. The challenge is to steer clear of making decisions based on the demands of the bullies and those who shout the loudest or post the most on social media. Instead, dear City Council, please work to determine the will of the majority, an often silent majority, and to filter out the noise of those who choose to shout their demands. Next, I get to thank the students and student interns I've worked with over the years. They often allowed me to attend several meetings at once and then provided their tremendous combination of youthful energy, enthusiasm, and idealism with a level of wisdom beyond their years. In fact, I too often hear complaints about kids these days. I hear that they're lazy, don't know how to work, and a host of other complaints. Please note that people have been complaining about kids these days since there have been kids. And in my experience, both working with interns and with thousands of students over the last 30 years, we should all be grateful for the patience our youth afford the rest of us, and they are our future, and our future is bright indeed. I want to thank the council members and city leaders who served before my 12 years and who helped the city survive and move forward after the flood. When I was first elected, one of my main hopes was to not screw up the great work that they had done. My hope in leaving the council is that we built upon the foundation laid by people such as Elliot Glassheim and Hal Gershman, Doug Christensen and Kurt Kruin, and the list goes on. I want to thank council members and city leaders who served before my 12 years. I already did that paragraph, didn't I? I also want to especially thank city staff. The people of Grand Forks cannot fully understand or properly value the benefits derived from quality public servants working at City Hall. When I have met with other city officials across North Dakota and across our country, I was able to glimpse the challenges of a city that is not similarly blessed. I want to avoid the trap that I'm going to fall into right now of starting to list names because I'm going to miss several key people. But let me quickly note Todd Phelan, Maureen Storstad, all the folks in planning and development, and everyone else that have made Grand Forks a better place to live. They do this every day. Thanks for all, as Kyle noted, thanks for all that you've taught me. Finally, I want to express appreciation for those who have run for elected office and for those men and women I have served with. All of the folks here this evening, and I've served with some other folks as well along the years. Ken, Dana, and I have been working together for the last 12 years. Ken, most people are unaware of the importance of water to our city and our regional economy, and the extent of your knowledge about these matters, and all the work that you have done over many, many years from Bismarck to DC to make sure that Grand Forks water needs are met in the present and well into the future. Thank you. Dana, President Dana Sandy, my dear good frenemy. I cannot think of another person with whom I have had so many knockdown public fights with. And yet we continue to refer to one another with great genuine warmth and camaraderie. We've had great fun together, and I truly believe that our often polar opposite approaches to so many things have resulted in better policy for the city. Thanks for your intelligence, your hard work, and your stubborn, often beneficial cynicism towards your responsibilities. And my thanks to Tricia Berg. Thanks for being willing to run for office, and congratulations on your win. I'm excited to see all the great things that you're going to do over the next 4 years and beyond. Now, as a former member of the Grand Forks City Council, I guess this makes it official, it's over now. Do we start the clock, or do I just get, I'm sure I can beat the 5 minutes here. For the new city council, cities have 3 basic directions to pursue. They can go backwards, stay in place, or go forward. First of all, moving backwards is actually what's happening to many, maybe most cities across the U.S. A city can move backwards by losing population, or by losing its young people, or by being mired in a downward economic spiral. Instead, Grand Forks over the last 12 years and beyond went from an aging community to seeing a growth in young people ages 25 to 45 at rates higher than the national average. And thanks to the entrepreneurial attitudes of City Hall, Mr. Mayor, and the expertise of our Economic Development Council Corporation, Mr. Lund is not here. He's usually always at these meetings, isn't he? Thanks to those folks, our local economy is on a solid trajectory for healthy, smart growth. Dear City Council, please avoid letting the NIMBYs harm the good work that is taking place. 2, you can stay in place, and staying in the same place may sound like an attractive option, but it isn't realistic. Roads and water infrastructure require maintenance, costs in the outside world change, the interests and desires of families will not remain the same. The challenge then is to run the city in a way that supports beneficial change and growth while holding on to the values and aspects of our community that are supported by both our current residents while building a community that will attract new blood, new ideas, and outside investment. Again, dear City Council, please avoid letting the NIMBYs drag us into some misguided delusion of a status quo. And that leaves moving forward. Moving forward is not simply about more people or a bigger economy or growth for growth's sake. Instead, moving forward means creating a community that serves everyone, from those 8 and younger to those 80 and older. We need to keep building a better community for our children, and our children includes those who were born here and those who moved here. It means children with deep roots in Grand Forks and children who may be new to North Dakota or even to the United States. All the children who live here are our children, and they should all be able to count on you making decisions to keep them safe and to make a place where they will want to raise their families. You must continue also to strive to address the key challenges of our community, including workforce development and affordable housing for all families. And that includes building a community that serves people my age and older. They are the ones who've laid the foundation upon which we build, and they deserve a safe and engaging home for their golden years. So, dear City Council, please do all you can to contribute to continue building a better community for all who live here, and do what you can to filter the noise of the bullies, those who shout the loudest, and those wanting to serve only their own needs. Thanks again, everyone.
I did start the clock. You have 1:40 left, so we'll go ahead.
Page 3.
Again, just any council members that want to make any comments, feel free. Mr. Weigel, let's go ahead and start, and whoever wants to go after.
When I thought about initially running for city council, Mr. Weber was the first person that I met with at Archives, yep, on campus. And so provided me just a lot of really good information. Then I got elected, and maybe like Dana a little bit, we've had some disagreements, but I think they've been good, healthy disagreements. I've always looked up to I've always thought you're a great man. We may disagree on many different things, but I never questioned why you were doing something. I always felt it was for what you thought were the best possible reasons. So for that, thank you for your time. Thank you. I think I've learned something from you, and I look forward to chatting with you in the future.
I will just say, Mr. Weber, thank you. The last 12 years have gone by pretty quick when you start thinking about it. And I just maybe would kind of look back at our time together. asking each other questions. We used to be on the phone quite a bit as we were trying to grow into our positions, and it was fun doing that with you and learning from you. And just one of the other items, I think, as we kind of grew up together was being on the legislative committee. I think when we first came on, we were the two rookies on the council, and yet we formed the legislative committee that helped work to bring us together legislatively, work with the staff, work with the legislature. And I think that was one of the highlights of the many good things that happened. Besides all the advice he'd given me, even explaining to me the use of pronouns. So thank you.
President Sandy, I know you got something to say.
Yeah, certainly. First of all, can I have that?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll need that in a few years. Thank you. It's really hard to put into words the time, the thoughtfulness, the effort, all of the shenanigans, all of our time together. Unlike your 2 pages, I have 5 sentences written down, but they're all meaningful to me. You're leaving the city council is a really significant loss to our community, Brett, and I don't think that anyone in town would disagree with that. You have worked tirelessly for our citizens and employees, using your high moral character and integrity in all of your decision-making processes. I learned about you very early in our time together when, if you recall, I'm sure you remember, when we went through preliminary budgeting. I think it was your 3rd year on the council, and I made the motion to approve the budget, and then a week later, I made a motion to amend the budget and make it smaller, and you played the video of my initial supporting the budget at the council meeting and used my own words against me, which was, it's classic. Right?
I don't remember that.
It was really good. You left me speechless. We've occasionally been at odds over taxes, pay raises, budget issues, yet we've always found ways to compromise. And I think that's a testament to you and your interest in finding ways to meet in the middle. It's a rare quality of people. You have been a formidable adversary, an indispensable ally, and above all else, a very good friend. So I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss our Monday nights. And so from all of the people of Grand Forks, Brett, I love you, dude.
Somebody could play this. Because it's being recorded.
Save it for next week.
Yeah. Anybody else? Well, I don't want to spoil the mood. That was pretty beautiful. I'm not going to kiss you, so I'm not going one step further. Just want to say a few words. I think there's been nobody that I have on the council that I haven't more passionately had debates with. We didn't meet at Archives. We met at Bully Brew on Columbia early on, and right from there we got thrust into the expert panel on during the pandemic times, and some very tough, very challenging times. Some debates that were significant and important, and I think we always sort of were able to give a little bit and come up with better policy during that time, and that continued on. I really enjoyed serving with you on the Pension and Insurance Committee. I got to see your passion for the Grand Forks, for all employees and all staff, but certainly the Grand Forks staff in particular. Oh man, just it's been a heck of a ride for 4 years, and you showed up at the tough times, you showed up at the good times, the bad times, you always showed up. So that's the character. If you want to judge a man by anything else, when they show up, you certainly showed up. So thank you, Mr. Weber.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Well, without
I move adjournment.
further ado, we need to specific adjournment. This would be to adjourn sine die. So would you like to make that motion? You can even say that with those words if
I
you prefer.
don't know how to say that, but I do move adjournment on that.
Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn sine die. Do we have a second? Do we want to,
Normally, it's tradition
wanna
that
have
the
tradition?
outgoing members make the motion.
yeah, would
and
you
the
be
second.
willing to
Rescind your motion?
rescind your motion? Yeah.
Only this
Who
time.
else? Only this time. I figured that. Who would like to start?
I'll make that motion.
All right, we got a motion from Mr. Kavami to adjourn
second,
sine
please.
die, and we've got a second from Vice President Weber. Seeing no further comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. We are adjourned. All right, just so everybody's aware out there, before we actually start the organizational meeting, we will administer oaths of office, and then we will do a welcome and roll call and begin the process. So it actually is going to start with first myself, then the two council members. So you can start to get ready and get into a good spot for pictures there if you got family and friends or.
John, I have to move back down there. Because I'm not president of the council right now.
So Tricia, you would actually want to move. Yeah, you're going to move next to Rebecca. Tricia Burr, sorry, next, Tricia, yeah. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, okay. Mr. Judge, Your Honor, come on, step down.
I do have the word. It even has your name on it.
All right, well, that's the old one there.
Yeah, it works, does it?
Where does John,
Actually, it's got,
where should we stand? Why don't we switch, why don't we do this right here? Go ahead.
We'll start with 1.1, administer oath to the office of mayor.
very good. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Kerry Rosenquist. I am the judge of municipal court. For those of you who don't know where that is, it's at 1701 North Washington.
We're hoping you don't know where it is.
If you want to visit, come anytime. Would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I state your name,
I, Brandon Bochensky,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and I will faithfully discharge the duty of the office of mayor of the city of Grand Forks
and I will faithfully discharge the duty of mayor, the office of mayor, of the city of Grand Forks,
for the term ending June 2028,
for the term ending June 2028,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And why don't we just go in numerical order, so Ms. Bird would be first, followed by Mr. Friedels.
We'll do the administration of the oaths of the council members.
Step forward. I don't bite. Unless you're in court. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Tricia Berg,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of City Councilman for the City of Grand Forks, North Dakota,
for the office of City Council for Grand Forks, North Dakota,
for the term ending June 2028,
for the term ending June 2028,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Good evening.
Good evening.
Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Mike Friedhoffs,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of City Council for the City of Grand Forks, North Dakota,
of the job of City Council for the State of North Dakota, City of Grand Forks,
for the term ending June 2028,
for the term ending June 2028,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Friedhoff, Ms. Berg, please come take your seats.
Anybody else, Mr. Mayor?
That'll do it. Or we got one? Oh, we got.
We
okay.
also need, yes.
Yeah, we
Mr.
got two,
Weigel,
that's
Mr.
right,
Dean.
two that are unopposed. That's right. Sorry, gentlemen.
I thought there was more.
Now we'll do,
Good evening. I state your name.
I, Danny Weigel,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of City Councilman for Grand Forks, North Dakota,
I will faithfully discharge the duties of City Councilman for the City of Grand Forks and State of North Dakota
for the term ending June 2028,
for the term ending June 2028,
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. Right then. I state your name.
I, Ken Vian,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and the Constitution of the State of North Dakota,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of councilman for the City of Grand Forks, North Dakota,
of councilman for the City of Grand Forks, North Dakota,
for the term ending June 2028,
for the term ending June 2028,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. And,
this time we're good. All right.
Chief Justice Roberts wanted to apologize. I know you were all expecting him tonight, but he asked me to stand in his stead.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. All right, welcome once again, everybody. Now we will call to order the Grand Forks City Council organizational meeting for Monday, July 1st, 2024. We've got our seats set up now based in wards, going from Ward 1 to Ward 7, and we will adjust that after we have a president and vice president selected. So we will start with roll call, please. Ms. Storstad.
Weigel.
Here.
Osowski.
Here.
Berg.
Here.
Lensky.
Here.
Friedolfs. Here. Sandy.
Here.
And Veen. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. So we'll move on from 2 to item 3, action items.
3.1 is to elect the president of the city council.
All right, so I'll be opening, we got a motion from Mr. Weigel.
I second.
What?
I got you all. I'd like to make a motion to elect Dana Sandy as president of the Grand Forks City Council. One thing I've appreciated about Dana is, again, we've had disagreements, but I don't know of anybody that puts in more work Monday through Sunday than Dana does. Whether that's looking at agendas, whether that's communicating with people that are in his ward, or even at times, probably many times outside of his ward. For me, when I was first elected to the city council, and I think I've said this before, Dana was the first person that called me. And he just welcomed me, talked a lot about what the next couple months or couple weeks we're going to hold, and that's something that I've really appreciated. And so with that, I'd make a motion to elect Dana as our city council president moving forward.
All right, we got a
Second.
motion from Mr. Weigel to elect Dana Sandy as the president of the city council, and we've got a second from Ms. Osowski. Further discussion on the matter pertaining to the election of the president of the city council? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote. Maureen, if you want to start just numerical order, please.
Sure.
Be Yes or no?
All right, Weigel.
Yes.
Osowski.
Yes.
Berg.
Yes.
Lunsky.
Yes.
Friedels. And Sandy, or Veen. And Veen.
All right, that motion passes unanimously. Why don't we wait till we do the vice president? We'll have a seating adjust, so move on to
3.2.
3.2, please.
Elect the vice president of the city council.
All right. You've got a motion, please. The floor is yours, Mr. Friedels.
I'd like to make a motion for Danny Weigel to be vice president of city council.
All right, Mr. Friedels' motion is to have Danny Weigel, elect Danny Weigel as vice president. Do we have a second on that item? Got a second from Ms. Osowski. Any further discussion on item 3.2 as it pertains to electing a vice president of city council?
Do I make comments or?
Yep, you can make comments now if you wish, please.
So I had to do a little research. I don't know Danny extremely well, but I wanted to, kind of look and see what some of his accomplishments were. And I really did find some of his things were pretty profound. Like putting the health insurance out for bid, which really saved the taxpayers and the city a lot of money. I thought that was pretty important. But also getting the first responders to join the North Dakota Public Safety Retirement Plan. I think that's huge. It proves that you're really there for advocating for not just the taxpayers but the city employees too. And now that I'm one, right, I think that's important, right? I think it's a noble cause, and reaching out to all the folks and making sure that you're looking out for them, I think is very important. So, thank you.
Any other comments? Item 3.2? All right, seeing no comments, why don't we do a roll call vote as well? Why don't you go descending order this time around?
All right. All right, Veen.
Yeah.
Sandy.
Yes.
Friedels.
Yes.
Lunsky.
Yes.
Berg.
Yes.
Osowski.
Yes.
And Weigel.
Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations to both of you. Why don't we, should we readjust the seating now? Or do you want to wait till the next meeting? All right, why don't we wait till the next meeting if you guys are good with that? Mr. Bernstrom, I'm sure would love to stay in the back room for now. The next item would be, if you want to move on,
No, that's
Ms.
fine.
Storstad, please.
3.3 then is the appointment of city attorney. The MOU is attached.
Thank you. I just want to thank Mr. Gostad for the last 4 years. There is an attachment on there as well. You can see that I think we're getting quite the value. A few other cities, it's not just about the dollar amount, but I think the legal expertise that we've been getting has been phenomenal over the 4 years, and we've surely needed it. So we appreciate the work that you've done and your whole team has done, not only on the city attorney side, but now taking over the city prosecution side. I know the judge left, but I heard we set a recent record in fines collected. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but something's getting done, so we appreciate that. On the prosecution side, and if you look at the dollar amounts, I know a few other cities have brought it in-house, and I think there's still a value of that overhead being taken on by your firm and not directly on the taxpayers. So I have a person that's changed. I think when I first came in, I saw that there being value in having it in-house, but now seeing the dollars that we're saving every year, even looking at cities the size of Minot and Bismarck, we're significantly, getting a lot better value than they are for their dollars. So just wanted to thank you for that, and be looking for any comments or motions as it pertains to item 3.3.
I'll make a motion there. Support the
Motion to
MOU.
approve. Thank you. Got a motion to approve from President Sandy. We have a second.
Second.
Second from Ms. Berg. Any further discussion as it relates to the appointment of the city attorney? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Gostad. With that, we're on to item number 4, adjournment. Do we have anyone that would like to
I
make a
move
motion to adjourn?
adjournment.
We got a motion to adjourn the organizational meeting from Ms. Osowski. Do we have a second? Second from Mr. Friedolfs. There we go. We missed the other. All right. It'll work. All right. We got a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Got one more meeting. You want to do that now? Sure. All right. So, Tricia, you're going to scoot. Yeah, you guys are both going to scoot one. All right, this will be the final meeting for the evening. So welcome everybody to the Grand Forks City Council meeting. The state has changed some state statutes, so in the past, this meeting would have taken place a week earlier, so we wouldn't have had action items on this meeting. It would have been during a committee of the whole week, so city business never stops, so this council has to get ready to work. So we do have some action items and some public hearings and second reading of ordinances that we need to get done, so let's begin. Ms. Storstad, please, roll call.
Weigel.
Here.
Osowski. Here. Berg.
Here.
Lensky.
Here.
Friedolfs. Sandy.
Here.
And Veen. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 1.2, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 1.3, Mayor's announcements. Just want to welcome the new council members and just wish everybody a happy and safe 4th of July. Hopefully we can all come back with all the digits that we started with. I think we can all agree that independence from the British is a good thing, so this will be a non-controversial holiday. The celebration this year in Grand Forks will be held at Sertoma Park during the day from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., so a lot of activities, kids parade, duck hunt, city band will be there, inflatables, food trucks, and much more. And then the fireworks display, the show will start at 10:30 p.m., so hopefully we'll get some dry weather and we'll be able to see that. They will be on the south end again at Grand Forks, south end of Grand Forks at the kind of nearby the South Middle School, Uland Park in that area. And the city offices will be closed on July 4th, so we figured we could have at least one day off, so that worked out well. That's all I have for mayor's announcements, so we'll move on to 2 awards, presentations, appointments, and proclamations. And actually, this item has been removed. The project has been pulled. It's not going to move forward at that location, so we're going to skip that presentation today and move right to 3 public hearings and second reading of ordinances.
So 3.1, like as the mayor said, public hearing and second reading of ordinances. Items A through C had been postponed from June 3rd. The applicant has requested these be withdrawn, but we'd just be looking for a motion to accept that withdrawal.
Sounds good. And I know we'll have also item 5.10 is pertaining to these 2. So we'll ask, you want to have a motion to withdraw them? Do we decide on that?
That would be good. We could also have the motion to remove 5.10 from the agenda.
All right, someone's willing to make that motion?
I motion those.
Got a motion, Ms. Osowski. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Berg.
Do we need to read in 510, though? Just procedurally, I don't care.
Well, we don't usually, I guess we can. Why don't you read it in real quick, just so we have it there, since we haven't had a committee of the whole on it either.
And 5.10 was the ordinance to dedicate right-of-way preliminary approval of plat of Palace Estates First Edition.
All right, so we've got a motion and a second. Motion from Ms. Osowski, second from Ms. Berg to withdraw those. Is there any further discussion on those items? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. So we'd be on to 3.1D through F.
And I can read in those, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Brooks. Item D is ordinance to dedicate right-of-way on plat of Corinta, 4th edition, and final approval of the plat. E is the ordinance to annex Corinta, 4th edition, and F is ordinance to annex Dinks, 2nd re-subdivision.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Do you want to give some information before we open the public hearing on that, or what do you prefer?
Well, I can certainly wait for you to open it up, Mayor.
Why don't we open it up just to see if anyone was here to speak on it, then you can answer any questions that they may have. So I'm going to do that for item 3.1, D, E, and F. So we'll open the public hearing on those 3 items. Anyone's here to speak on item 3.1, D, E, or F, please come to the podium now. All right, seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing portion, and why don't you give some further details?
Thank you, Mayor. So I know we have 2 new council people here. I can just quickly, I won't spend a lot of time on this, but every time we have new development coming in, there is a requirement for that land to be platted and annexed and potentially rezoned. In this case, this one is zoned appropriately, but it had not been platted yet. So this first item is platting, where we grab the right-of-way and necessary easements that are required for the development to occur. This is on the 27th Avenue North and North 39th Street. It's north of Simplot, and this is just a pretty simple plat coming in. You'll see a lot of these over the next 4 years. So this one's about a 6-acre parcel. Happy to stand for
Anybody
it.
have any question, Mr. Brook? Ms. Osowski, please.
Yeah, Is this where Epitome is going to go? What's going to go here?
Right now, it's a different manufacturing development that's coming in. I do not have their name off the top of my head, but it is, they are doing manufacturing, and it is appropriate. Heavy industrial is what the zoning is on the
Does
property.
anybody know their name? I mean, if we're platting land, shouldn't we know?
We don't necessarily, in this case, it's, they're purchasing from Carenta, so the name on the application right now is, it's under Ida and Ardell Carenta, and I do not know the name of the manufacturer. They're out of Sioux Falls, so it is and they do have a local contingency here, is what I've been told.
Okay.
Any further questions from Mr. Brooks? All right, seeing none. We okay with voting on all three? Do you want to have them individually?
I think separately would be better.
All right, so we'd be looking for motions on item 3.1D. Got a motion to approve from President Sandy, second from Mr. Veen. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. And we'll move on to 3.1E. We have a motion on item 3.1E. Motion to approve President Sandy. Do we have a second? Second from Ms. Lunsky. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. And item 3.1F.
I'll move approval.
Motion approved from Mr. Vice President Weigel. Do we have a second? Second from Mr. Friedolfs. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that's it for public hearings, second readings ordinances. We'll move on to 4, citizen comments. We have none tonight for the new council members? Come on. All right, I guess we'll move on. We'll move on to item 5, action items. 510 has been withdrawn, so we're going to just go through since he's hadn't had a committee of the whole. So we'll start with 5.1 through 5.9. Ms. Storstad, if you want to read in 5.1.
5.1, reappointments to the Grand Forks Historic Preservation Commission.
Mayor Buchenski and members of the city council, these are generally on committees. The mayor, many committees are mayoral recommended, city council approved. These 4 members, Mr. Flemmer, Mr. Eisminger, Sandy Slater, and also Bill Carher, they're all currently on the board. They've been recommended to move forward from their director. So they're all doing a great job, and we recommend reappointment.
I move approval.
Got a motion approved from Ms. Osowski.
Second.
A second from Ms. Berg. Any further discussion on the reappointments to the Grand Forks Historic Preservation Commission? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
5.2, construction engineering agreement for project 8557, Columbia Road Overpass Rehab.
Mr. Karinko, please, I think you got the next 3, so please.
Thank you, Mayor Buchinski and members of the City Council. The item before you is the Columbia Road Overpass. This project consists of sandblasting and painting the steel superstructure, replacing the pot bearings and pier bearings, replacing the finger joints that are at the ends of either ends of the bridge itself, which help with expansion and contraction of the bridge, as well as texturing the surface of the bridge. That way then you have that added friction, especially when we get ice in the middle of the winter. The item before you is for the construction engineering services to inspect the construction of this project. This is a federally funded project, and so because of that, there are a lot more inspection and documentation requirements, which city staff just isn't able to handle. So because of that, we ended up following the DOT process for the consultant selection. Houston Engineering was selected as the most qualified consultant for the project. The scope and fee was negotiated not to exceed the $941,730.21. And with that, staff is recommending approving the engineering agreement with Houston Engineering for construction engineering, survey, material testing, and inspection services in the amount not to exceed $941,730.21. And with that, here to stand for any questions you may have.
I move approval.
Got a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Got a motion from Ms. Osowski, second from Mr. Friedolfs. How's the timing looking if this all moves forward? Are we set up well for Washington underpass to get completed right as the work begins on the Columbia overpass?
Realistically, they'll probably be happening at the same time. We're looking at the sandblasting and painting to occur this summer. And then construction on Washington is going to continue into next year. So
Okay.
we'll likely have concurrent projects running. They're both 2-year-long projects.
Okay. Well, there'll definitely be some bottlenecks. We'll have to do our best on the information sharing on that one. Hopefully, Mr. Burnstrom can hear us in the back, and we'll help out with that. Any further discussion on item 5.2? We have a motion and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
5.3 is the bid award for project 8791.2, 2024 flood outfall repairs.
Mr. Krenko.
The structure J6, it's located approximately where North Washington ends up intersecting with our English Coulee diversion. This is a structure that allows for water to pass from the ditch along North Washington Street and enter into the English Coulee diversion. There's a gate structure there, and on either side of that gate structure, we have a separation of the pipe, and because of that, soil from the levee system is infiltrating into the pipe, causing a bit of a sinkhole there. This project is to essentially go in, take care of those repairs. We're looking to get that taken care of this summer or into the fall. That way then we're prepped and ready to go for the next upcoming flood. With that, we had a total of 4 bidders, which ranged from about $118,000 to about $287,000. The engineer's estimate on this was right around $169,000. So low bidder came in at about 30% under engineer's estimate. And the low bidder on this one was Taggart Taggart Contracting in the amount of $117,874. And with that, staff is recommending approval.
Thank you, Mr. Krenko. Any questions for Mr. Krenko on 5.3? Mr. Veen.
Yeah, Mr. Greco, I see you haven't gotten permission on the outfall structure yet. Is that right?
That is structure 210,
Yeah.
and that is correct. We have
And
not
so
gotten.
what's the timing, and is there any implications of that?
That I am not 100% sure of. That is on the, for those of you who aren't aware, there's a pipe separation at structure 210, and that's located at, I want to say about the 3900 block, 3700 block of Belmont. That's a separation on the downstream side of the structure itself. So we haven't gotten permission yet from the Corps to move forward on that yet, but that's something that we are still actively engaging them on.
Well, that answers, they're entirely separated, so thank you.
No comment.
Yeah, Ms. Osowski, please.
I guess my only comment is I really appreciate us using our actual flood protection money for flood protection. And so I think this is a perfect use of our money, not redesigning a greenway that would probably cost us more money with our flood protection money. So with that, I move approval.
Got a motion approved from Ms. Osowski. Do we have a second? Second from Mr. Weigel. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
5.4, cost share agreement with BNSF, project 8851 North 42nd Street, University, Railroad Crossing replacement and change order for project 8755, 2024 concrete street repairs.
All right, Mr. Krenko, you got to act excited on this one because all the energy now, because we got, everyone's excited, new council members, now we're doing engineering items, so you got to give us some energy here.
All right, well, I'll do the best I can.
All
So BNSF ended up approaching city staff, and they ended up looking at the current crossing plate that's located at the crossing over by University Avenue and North 42nd Street. In particular, the wooden crossing plate at that location, it's right by the shared use path that crosses on the south side. It's in rather poor condition. And unfortunately, when we talked to the state, they have a number of other projects already on the docket that's going to be seeing funding, particularly up on Gateway Drive and that Mill Spur, and that's for next year. BNSF is looking to get this crossing at 42nd and University taken care of, and since there isn't state funding available for it, they're looking to partner with the city on that one on a 50-50 cost share, which is about $60,000 for the city. And then in addition to that, we would also be looking to use our concrete street repair contract to take care of the concrete approach panels that are leading up to it. And we're anticipating the change order on that's going to be hopefully not to exceed about $80,000. So with that, staff is recommending approving the cost share with BNSF for approximately $60,000, and then approving a change order for city contract 8755, our 2024 concrete street repair contract, not to exceed $80,000, and then also resetting the city engineer's authority and approve any necessary budget amendments for that.
Thank you, Mr. Krenko. Mr. Veen and Mr. Sandy, you've been here for a while. How many cost shares have we gotten from BNSF over the years?
None as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, so that's
This
great
is
news.
exciting.
This is great news. I know the underpass at 42nd and Demers is also looking that way, but, all right, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Karinko? Mr. Weigel?
Mr. Kranko, we currently have that intersection closed right now due to the streetlights being, new ones put up. Are we going to be able to get that done while it's closed now, or are we going to have to open it, close it later again?
Realistically, we're probably going to have to reopen it and then close it again, just because of the timing and the amount of lead time that BNSF needs to mobilize their forces to complete the construction.
Sounds good. Do you know when it's going to open? When we're going to finish up those streetlights?
Mr. Krinko, did we remove the crossing arms there? Is that why University is actually closed through?
Just, it's the,
I know they're redoing the streetlights.
Yeah.
But why there's 4 streetlights, but only 3 lanes operational.
yeah.
So why aren't we using University?
So right now, the reason why we have University closed off is because the traffic signal system itself is tied into the railroad crossing gate arms. So if the preemption isn't tied in right because the signal is down, the gate arms aren't going to be able to tell the signals everything's coming. So as a preventative measure to make sure safety is of the utmost importance, we ended up closing that side.
So it's closed so nobody gets hit by a train.
Correct.
Okay.
I move
How
approval.
long is it going to be closed? Sorry.
I want to say we're looking at probably 3 to 4 weeks for total closure on that. I don't remember offhand when exactly the closure started for that.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think we did have a motion there, so we got a motion to approve. Do we have it from Ms. Osowski, second from Mr. Weigel? Further comment? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Krinko.
5.5, bid award for pump station 186 and force main upgrade pump stations 182 and 188, project 8265.1, district 598.
All right, Ms. Neuschwander, please take it away.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. So this project is the long-awaited bid award for the Vale Circle project. Bids were opened on June 19th. 5 bids were opened. We got 1 bid for the general, 2 for the electrical, and 1 for the mechanical. The general bid was approximately 22% over estimate. I worked with Dan Hansen, Pete Almold, Ben Williams at WFW, and we went over the bids trying to decide if there's any items to be cut. We decided that there wasn't. We talked about pulling the pumps at the station 182. That's right at the east side of Washington and 11th Avenue. And that's the only area, a part of the project that the benefit you'll see from the east of Washington, east of 20th to Washington. So we decided to keep that in, but if it's something that council wants to look at pulling, we can do it. But we could purchase the pumps at a later date and then install them. It will be more expensive, and it would be not special assessed. And then we didn't receive any bids for the forest main. We're looking to rebid that this fall. And they're supposed to finish all the work in 2025. And then just a reminder on the cost sharing that we got, we have $7.7 million in federal funding, $258,000 in state funding, and the remaining balance is to be special assessed. At this time, that's right around $3.3 million, which is about 30% of the project cost. And I can stand for questions.
Has the homeowners or the group that's being special assessed there, how have they been informed? Have we had feedback yet? I know this is a project that's been wanting to be done for decades, probably.
Yeah, so finance has sent out their notices. I've heard feedback both ways. If you hear people from Vale Circle where they had 4 feet of water in their basement, they're very excited. You get some of the people that wouldn't see the benefit that don't want to pay for it, and they kind of squawk about it. But so I've seen both sides. I know Mr. Bean has heard from a number of people, and I know finance has too, but I'm kind of in both areas.
Yeah, Mayor, if I could,
Mr.
I'm
Green.
glad you brought that up because that was one of the issues. Like you said, I've received concerns about that too. Now the bids are coming in higher. That means those numbers, I'm sure, are going to increase. Is that notice going to go out to them with the new ones, or did you have enough usually you have a range or whatever to begin with? So will there be increases?
Yeah, so from what I know, working with Samantha, she included 25%, and we're at 26% over that estimate that was sent to the residents. But that's using the estimate that we included for the force main, so that we don't know if that'll come below or above. So once we rebid that, then we'll know for sure what we're at. So I think it was going to be more of like a general, this is what we're looking at right now with that force main coming in this fall. Correct me if I'm wrong, Maureen.
Yeah, so when we send out those letters, we give them a range. So this was like Carmen said, 1% over the top of that range. So I believe we will be speaking internally about sending out new letters to give that notice.
With a caveat, we'll wait and see where that force main comes in at as well.
And so if I could, on the force main itself, you had no bidders, right?
No
That's what
bidders.
you said. You had a couple, three that took out plans?
Yeah, I think we had 3 or 4. Ben is here, and we've talked to, Ben's worked with a couple of the contractors that have interest in bidding it, but they just don't have time right now with it being, right, it's July now, so they would be interested in starting it right away next spring.
What's that
2025.
impact on the project? I mean, is that delaying the whole project because you need to have the force main in?
Not entirely. We're working with the state, and they were open to us extending that deadline. So originally it was June 2025, and we've been able to push it back to September 2025 while securing that funding.
It's just that if we have a major storm, it won't be in place. I
Correct.
think there's an impact to the delay of this project.
Right.
But I fully understand, I think historically, there's a lot of issues happening with bids. You're not getting competitive bids. And so there aren't very many bidders. So I think, I certainly support, even though it's overbid, that we estimate that we do the project, understanding also, I know the reason why. It's part of the bidding climate today.
Right.
But I would like to see us try to get the force main done as quickly as possible, because with all the rain and everything we've had, I think people are at risk, and we need to work on that.
Right, and one caveat is, Mr. Kranko talked about the Columbia Road overpass, and that's going to be shut down next year, so we're going to try and piggyback that work over by the hospital when they're doing that shutdown, just so then that whole area will be kind of a mess, and we'll work on it at the same
Are you going
time.
to have to open cut Columbia Road?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll work on that at the same time that the bridge is down next year, is kind of also the plan, or else that would have been this fall.
Thank you.
And the 7.7 was FEMA funds that we ended up getting, which was
Correct.
kind of a stretch. We didn't even know if we'd be able to get them. So I think
Right.
it's still exciting to get this project done, and knowing that, obviously it's going to get special assessed some, but there's really no cost to the city because anything is special assessed, other than obviously the people that live there. But,
Right.
all right, well, it's not all great news, but mostly good news. So got a motion approved from Mr. Veen, second from Ms. Osowski. Any further comment?
I'm sorry. Mr. Mayor, does that include the pumps, or your motion include the pumps, or doesn't it?
That's included in
They're
my staff
included. Very good.
recommended action,
And-
yeah.
and- Okay, just wanted to make sure, thank you.
Perfect. Any further comment? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
5.6, disposition of public transportation vehicles.
Move approval, Mayor.
A
Got a motion
second.
approved, we got a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Bergman, you must have really looked sharp tonight, because nobody even wants to hear what you have to say.
That's what it takes. I'll do it every time.
All right, we got a motion and got a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
5.7, replat of lots 1 and 2, Block 1, Grinnell Ridge, second re-subdivision.
Mr. Brooks.
Thank you. This is similar to the previous plating discussion. This is a plating for property up in the 16th Avenue North area, which is north of the McDonald's on Gateway Drive in that industrial area. And they're replatting some property that's owned by one owner and moving some property lines around. They're going to do an expansion on site, additional industrial buildings on that site. Happy to stand for any questions.
Got a motion approved from Ms. Osowski. Do we have a second? A second from, let's get to Mr. Friedolfs. And this was unanimously approved by Planning and Zoning.
Correct.
Sounds good. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Brooks, continue.
Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Dorset, if you want to read in 5.8, yeah.
5.8 then, replat of Lot 3, Block 1, Kingsview, First Edition, located 6050 Kingsview Drive.
Thank you. This one's in the Kingsview Drive area. Just on the left side of the screen here is Kingsview condos. They originally had planned for 3 total condos. The middle one was the one that was built first. The one on the in this area, they do decide not to do additional condos in that area. These are townhomes that they're planning to do. This is subdividing out the land, zoning's in place, and they're going to do 8 total townhomes there with a clubhouse that'll actually be relatively close to this area here. We've contacted folks around there, even though the zoning was in place, talked to that neighbor next door as well and let them know what was going on, and the owner had already talked with him as well. So happy to stand for any questions.
All right, any comments, questions, or motions from council? Ms. Linsky, please.
A silly question, but what's the difference between a condo and a townhouse?
Well, in this case, these condos that are to the one side, they're 3-story high and stacked units. These townhomes are I believe all one level. They're going to own the whole unit that you see within that footprint of Lot A. They're going to own, and so that when I'm referring to townhomes there, they're going to own that middle area in common, but they'll own the footprint of their property.
Thank you.
Move approval.
Got a motion approved from Vice President Weigel.
Second.
Second from Ms. Osowski. Any further comment? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
5.9, conditional use permit to construct guest house of A2 Agricultural Urban Reserve District.
Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. This one's a bit unusual. We have only done, I think, 3 of these in 10 years. But this area here is, here's South Columbia Road, here's 62nd Avenue South. There's a small rural subdivision in this area. There's 4 different homes out in that area. One of these homes, the one highlighted here in the northwest quadrant, is doing a guest house. It's actually for her father. And what she's doing is a garage, and there's a unit above. We actually allow these in our egg district. It's called a guest house, and there's specific provisions that it cannot be rented. And so in this case, this is something that is permitted within code through a conditional use. We've done the notifications around. This was unanimously approved at Planning Commission as well. Happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
Question.
Mr. Veen, please.
Mr. Brooks, is there a minimum lot size to be able to do this?
It does need to be on a 5-acre, 5-acre, has to be at least 5 acres.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So it's not going to happen in town. I mean, you're
Correct.
probably talking about in the extraterritorial areas. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. Move approval.
Got a motion approved from Mr. Veen.
Second.
Second from Ms. Osowski. Any further comments? All right, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Brooks. That's it for action items this evening. Item 6, information items.
6.1, attached is the official results of the June 11th election.
Sounds good. I hope Mr. Friedolfs and Ms. Berg won, because you're sitting up here, so I'm sure the results do show that, as well as Mr. Veen, myself, and Mr. Weigel. Perfect. Thank you. Item 7, approval of minutes and bills.
7.1 is the vendor list and engineer's estimate that's also attached.
All right, do we have a motion to pay the bills? Motion from President Sandy. Do we have a second? Second from Ms. Osowski. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
And 7.2 is the minutes from February 5th and 20th, March 4th and 18th. And for those new council members, we are a bit behind on minutes. Ms. Lundberg's been working hard to get those caught up for you so we can get on track. So
That's great to see 4 in 1. Appreciate that. Appreciate the work by finance. Do we have a motion to approve as is? Motion to approve as is from Ms. Lunsky. Do we have a second? Maybe someone that was here, probably. Second from President Sandy. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, item 8, citizen comments that are not agenda but general in nature. Any comments this evening received by finance or the clerk? Seeing there's none, so we'll move on. Item 9, city administrator comments. Any comments this evening, Mr.
I
Flynn?
have a few. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to give the current city council and the new members, July is going to get to be a busy month. We have a lot of action items. Number 1, at the COW on July 8th will be the first budget meeting that we'll have, and so we'll provide an overview of current, budgetary indicators. We'll also do a budget presentation on the salary plan, so that'll be the first time that you have a formal budget presentation. And from that meeting through August into September, when we actually approve, we'll have several budget meetings. The other two things that we've been working on that will appear on the July 8th is the small community air service grant. We are going to ask City Council to move forward with that grant. The federal deadline is in later part of July, and so we'll be in front of you giving you a briefing on that and all the progress we've made, and to ask you to move forward with submitting the grant and with a financial commitment of up to $300,000 to help match that $1 million federal grant. So that'll be up in front of you. The other thing we were working on is Franklin on 4th, and we had proposed, a month or two ago to put place the public health department along with the fire marshal's office in the second floor of the building right next to us. I know the county commission has a meeting tomorrow. I anticipate they're going to recommend to place their sheriff's office and state's attorney's office not on the third floor of the county building where public health is currently residing. And so I'll be back to give you an update on that and have you guys move forward either to keep the public health department in where they're at in the county building or to move forward with Franklin and Fort. But I think with all the moving what we have with the county, there is nobody that they have lined up right now to go into that third floor of public health. So that's the one, we wanted to let the dust settle on that, and that seems where it's going to go, but the county commission will make a final determination on that. The other thing I wanted to know is giving an update to Council President Sandy on July 22nd, which would be the following call. We're going to plan to bring a indoor sports and aquatic complex update to you along with the Children's Museum. And as you recall, the City Council approved moving forward with both projects and then to see how they would fit on that south of the Alaris Center site. I think there's probably some further hope that that would work out. And so you hired Bolton and Mink to look at how that would look. So there's been some, shifts on where those buildings would be. But with both facilities, you're going to get an early look to see how things are progressing. And then specifically on the indoor sports and aquatic, we've also hired a construction manager at risk. So we want to give you an update on the schematic design and also some of the budgetary where those things are going. Because ultimately in September on both of those decisions, you're going to make a decision on what to move forward with final design regarding the indoor sports and aquatic, and then you'll also likely make a determination to whether or not to incorporate the Children's Museum into that location. So lots of decisions, but we wanted to get to you in July, so when the decision comes to you in September, kind of like the budget, you've had at least a couple months to think through before making an ultimate decision. So with that, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Phelan. Item 10, Mayor and Council member comments. Ms. Osowski, any comments this evening?
Yeah, I have some questions and some comments probably for Mr. Gosted. So I believe all of us received an email about Fufang's property, and it's my understanding that they still own that property, correct?
I haven't done any title work on that, but the last I saw, there's a deed into Fufang USA Incorporated.
Okay, and they're not up to date on their taxes, I believe the last we spoke about it. I don't know, I haven't checked recently, but I guess I'm just wondering, about kind of the agriculture purchase, and it says here that contracts need to be in place before 150 days. I mean, how long are they going to sit on that property? Is there anything we can be doing as a city and as a council? I mean, can we eminent domain the property? I don't know what really our options are at this point, but they obviously can't build on it. Are they allowed to just sit on it?
I'm not, I was looking at the statute yesterday.
Okay.
The statute does speak to acquiring agricultural land for industrial purposes. I'm working off memory now. And as long as they've entered into contracts for construction, I don't know what the statute, I've looked to find if there was any case or any Attorney General's opinion regarding what it means, what the extent of those contracts. I do know that there was some work done before the development agreement had been terminated. I don't know if that necessarily fits within the statute, but there was some work being done out there. I think the statute also speaks to land being owned, that's agricultural land that's owned. I understand this land has been rezoned to industrial. So I'm not sure that that provision in the statute necessarily applies. But what I do know is that the enforcement mechanism isn't with the city council, it's with the Attorney General's office.
Okay. There were a lot of I don't knows during that answer, but I appreciate it. Can you know and give us like a little bit of a presentation? And then can we contact the Attorney General? Or like, how would that work? Or do we just, if they decide to get involved, then they get involved? Or can us as a city contact them and ask them to get involved?
The way the statute reads is the Attorney General, if he has reason to believe that there's a violation of the statute, can proceed with an action.
Do you believe there's violation with the statute?
I don't know, so I'm not going to render an opinion as to whether there's a violation or not. There's a lot of factual information that needs to be elicited before I can make a conclusion. I mean, there's a number of facts that would have to be ferreted that nobody here in this room has. What I was trying to tell you is that I don't know the extent of the contracts that we're entering into. I understand there was work done, and in order to evaluate a statute and evaluate what the outcome might be, you're going to have to figure out what those facts are. I don't have those facts in front of me.
Okay, can someone from the city please look into some of those things? I guess I would just like to see the entire Fu Fang situation wrapped up, and let's get it just taken care of so we don't have to receive emails about it anymore. I mean, and I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing as a city also. So, thank you.
Ms. Berg, any comments this evening?
No.
All right, Ms. Lunsky, any comments this evening? Mr. Friedolfs? Mr. Veen? All right, Vice President Weigel.
Just two quick things. I did email Mr. Gosted yesterday when we got that email. I could forward you his response. He went through and on a Sunday,
Thank you.
got it for us, so I'll send that over to you. Just congratulations to Mike and Tricia. Welcome to the City Council, and good luck moving forward.
Thank you, President Sandy.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Certainly, I'm going to miss Kyle and Brett very much because they're very good people and they're fun to work with. I'm looking forward to spending more time with getting to know Mike and Tricia better, and I'm sure they're going to do a great job. On a side note, Mayor, I've come to learn that Mr. Weber's on the Housing Authority Board, and all of those positions are at large. The Housing Authority Board is currently full with 5 members, but there is no reason why we couldn't or shouldn't add another member to that board. I think it's really important that our council have somebody on the Housing Authority Board to keep us appraised of any issues and to carry the water for the council during those meetings. I have spoken with Ms. Berg. I think she, in her current position, would be ideal to fill that role. And so, Mayor, if you would mind, at the next council meeting, if you would make the recommendation to the city council to add her to that board, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, President Sandy. I know this is a discussion we've had with Terry Hansen as well, so I'll get those details. If it doesn't happen at that one, certainly in the near future, we'll make sure that our ducks are aligned, and probably a great person to have on that board. So,
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, I just got a few comments. Just again, want to welcome the new council members. There's some really amazing projects that are going to be coming. Whether it's the sports complex, whether it's the Children's Museum, or large infrastructure projects like the underpass at 42nd, or the interstate interchange. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of projects. That stuff's exciting. It's a great time to be on here, but there's a lot of other work to do. There's a lot of small work to do when it comes to engineering, policing the community, firefighting for the community, inspections, all these small things that details that have to be combed over and have to be worked on just as hard as the fancy fun things. But I have no doubt that this group will handle the big things and the little things with equal care, and very excited to move forward the next 4 years. So with that, Ms. Osowski, if you actually, why don't we let the new council members adjourn? If you're okay with just giving us one meeting, that'd be just great. So if there's anybody that wants to make a motion to adjourn, we're on to item 11.
I move adjournment.
We have a motion to adjourn. I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything over there. Mr. Friedolfs, is that a motion? That is a motion. Got a motion to adjourn from Mr. Friedolfs. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Berg. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.